You couldn't leave well enough alone. Could you, little twerp? Well, now you're gonna pay.
Hello friends, my name is Stevie Cade and welcome to Film Trigger. So, Cobra Kai Season 4 just landed, and I'll tell you what, I've been watching Cobra Kai for, well, actually the past 2 years. I've caught up on all 3 seasons last year. I've been waiting for this 4th season and was super excited about it. And every time I do, I keep getting these little bits of nostalgia where I'm like, man, I remember this. I remember that. I remember this from the movie. And I haven't seen the original movie since I was like 7. So that's what we're going to do here today, everybody. We're going to dive into the original... Will you stop interrupting me, please? Get out of here. Goddamn like button. Without further ado, let's dive into my review for The Karate Kid.
The Karate Kid.
As I said before, I don't quite remember too much about this movie. I do know that I liked it a lot when I was very little. Again, haven't seen it since I was 7. Let's just dive into what I like about this movie. Its organic nature. The way this movie flows, everything just has this very organic way about it. Nothing seems forced or far-fetched. It's not like an extravagant story like rags to riches sort of thing. No, it's very low-key, and the story builds slowly and naturally. Daniel's character development makes sense for everything that he's juggling. It's not too much. It's a pretty well-balanced film in that sense. Now, some other characters' development, we'll discuss that a little bit later, but as for Daniel's, it falls into that very organic, natural way of storytelling. Ralph Macchio delivers his lines in a very organic way as well. Like, seriously, like, I can't even tell this kid's acting, which means he's being a really good actor, but it honestly looks like he's having a genuine conversation and just no cameras are rolling. And I know that's what actors are supposed to do, but like, there's something about just the way he works with everybody in this movie. He just flows in a very natural, organic way.
Yeah, she's beautiful. I say she's beautiful. I think she's beautiful.
Is that your address? You got it.
Which is why I'm surprised I haven't seen much of Ralph Macchio past this. I mean, well, okay, we have. You know, he's obviously been in The Crossroads. He was in My Cousin Vinny, you know, which... great movies, but like a little shocked because the kid's a great fucking actor. Same as Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, but he has a little bit more depth. He's very funny character. He really is, but then he's also very intense, very focused, and then he's just laughing about, having fun, and then back to being serious.
Fighting always last answer.
And I really like the story being told here. The fascinating, like, you know, underdog, triumph, sort of misfit sort of thing going on here. And Daniel's not the only misfit. That's something that him and Miyagi have in common, it seems like. Mr. Miyagi just doing the whole maintenance man thing, you know, just sticking to himself, which, now that I think about it, kind of mirrors Johnny's storyline in Cobra Kai, doesn't it? Wasn't he like a maintenance guy in the first season? Interesting. And I've learned something today. But then when Daniel starts being bullied, he wants to defend himself and starts to learn karate, which we learn is not the main lesson that he's supposed to learn here, but we'll talk about that here in a second. As a matter of fact, something that I originally was going to put on what I didn't like or on the fence was the fact that Daniel had 2 months of training against all these other martial artists who've been doing it for most, if not all of their lives. Like, how the fuck do you expect this kid to win? But then I discovered by the end of the movie, that's not the point. And this ended up going on what I like about this movie. Mr. Miyagi never set out for Daniel to win this competition. That was not the point. Even though Daniel thought that was the point, even though Cobra Kai thought that was the point, oh, you're going to lose, little kid. Like, no, that was not Mr. Miyagi's integrity. Mr. Miyagi's integrity was simple. Show up, do your best, earn respect. That's all you need to do. Winning doesn't matter. And he says that a lot in this movie. Another thing I really liked about this movie is its patience. And trust me, you need patience when watching this movie. The unique training that Miyagi put Daniel through, you know, it seems like he's just using him for cheap labor, and Miyagi's just not even around. He's going out doing fishing, fixing sinks, or doing whatever the hell he does. Daniel learning how to balance on the boat while Mr. Miyagi is fishing. Like, this is a very patient creating situation. Not only is he unknowingly learning how to use his wax on and wax off as, you know, defense techniques, he's also growing his patience of why am I doing these things? And then when that patience pays off, well, then well, that's exactly what it does. It pays off. You know, like if you happen to have a YouTube channel for almost 4 years and still haven't reached 1,000 subs. See? Patience. But just like Daniel's lessons, the movie moves forward in this sort of pacing and pays off in the end. Storytelling wise, I mean. And the way these lessons are taught really stick with you. And not just like with you, like I'm not saying like you speaking of Daniel, I'm talking about you, us, the audience members. These are very fundamental lessons that are being taught in a very simplistic form, which makes it easy for someone like, me to actually, hold on to and absorb and understand. So I think the movie did a great job making it not seem like a whole bunch of Asian ramblings of karate lingo, and trying to throw too much nonsense at you that, the average person wouldn't understand. It was brought down to a very common ground for people like you and I to understand. The movie did a great job with that. Moving right along with some things I'm on the fence about when it comes to this film. Mr. Miyagi's story arc. I felt like there was more to be told here. They kind of hinted, the loss of his wife, the loss of his baby. They show him doing that anniversary toast where he got a little too toasty. I feel like there's something more to be told here. Maybe, sipping on the bottle a little bit more throughout the movie. Maybe helping Daniel helped him, and they both helped each other in their journey, whether Daniel knew he was helping Mr. Miyagi or not. That would have been a great element to add. Another thing I'm on the fence about is this whole bullying concept. I'm not on board with the bullying concept. I don't buy it. Okay, he was bullied, and Johnny shows up like a fucking dick, and throws the radio down and acts like an asshole, and then they kick, Daniel's ass, and Daniel, he stands up for himself. Good for him. But Daniel also does some shit on his end to stir the pot a little bit. That's not the signs of somebody who's being bullied. That's the signs of someone who keeps getting his ass kicked and keep asking to get his ass kicked. Does that make sense? Like, there was no reason for him to shove that hose into the bathroom stall. No reason at all. He did it. He got revenge, but that's not how somebody who was being bullied would act. I bet Mr. Miyagi didn't know about that part of the story. Yes, and I know all about the How I Met Your Mother, Daniel was the real bully concept. I don't buy that either. No, Daniel, they're both at fault here. Johnny was an asshole. Daniel also acted like an asshole, but got his ass beat. They're both teenagers. They both fueled this entire thing. I just don't buy the whole concept of Daniel was the poor bullied kid. Bonsai tree therapy, or whatever you call it, when they're clipping the little bonsai trees. I love that element of this movie, but I wish we would have seen more of it. I wish we would have seen, for troubled times when Daniel just got his ass kicked for the third fucking time, kind of hide away into the little areas and trim that bonsai tree, showing that more of as a therapeutic montage. I would have liked to seen that record out more throughout the movie to make that bonsai tree's peacefulness a little bit more impactful.
A perfect picture.
How do I know if my picture's the right one?
If come from inside you, always right on.
But we get it in the beginning of the movie, and then it's never seen again, besides it being yelled out multiple times. Bonsai! Now moving right along with things I do not like about this film. The story did a great job illustrating patience and where it can get you, but it did so in a very boring way, in my opinion. Not in a very boring, that's a little extreme, but there were a few times I was bored in this movie. And I think the way to rectify that are some of the things I was on the fence about, why they weren't more prominent. Mr. Miyagi's story arc being a more pivotal part of the story. The bonsai tree being a more therapeutic part of the story. More time with Daniel's mom. Where the fuck is Daniel's mom? Where is she? She pops up for that date with Kate and that's all you see her. You see her a glimpse here and a glimpse there, but she has no qualms, no questions, no curiosity about her son hanging out with this old man at his home, trimming his bush. I'm going to hell for that one. My point is, she shows no real presence in this movie, and that, to me, is another missed opportunity. Something that could have helped break up the monotony of this film. Here's something I couldn't quite wrap my head around. The fuck's she doing for a living? Something with computers. And why did she move from New Jersey all the way to California? Looks like she's a waitress now. What happened to the computer gig? Why is she a waitress now? Mom, get your head together. Another thing I don't like about this movie is that the tournament does not seem it has much at stake. Which arguably was Mr. Miyagi's point, win or lose, what's the difference? But I feel like we had this great build up to this little bitty climax. Cobra Kai doesn't seem to give a fuck. They're sacrificing their people to get rid of Daniel for some reason. And that's another part of it. Cobra Kai just does not seem like their integrity is to win. They don't care about winning this tournament. They just care about kicking Daniel's ass and making sure he doesn't win the tournament. That's all they want. Let's disqualify all of our people. Just make sure Daniel doesn't win this tournament. There's no stake here. Again, it's a weak ending to a fairly strong build-up. Overall, I feel like I liked this movie a lot more when I was a kid. And I'm sure people like my brother's age who remember it a little bit better, I'm sure they probably still love it for their own reasons. But I don't know, the movie just didn't stick with me. Now, maybe because I've been watching Cobra Kai, so I have this expectation set up watching Cobra Kai, and I go back and watch this, and it's far different from Cobra Kai, which I already knew, but maybe I didn't know how different it was. Like, every time I saw Johnny and Daniel together, I just wanted to see them interact and talk shit to each other, you know? Which they did a couple times, but nowhere near to the extreme that Cobra Kai does. Maybe the show did kind of bring the movie down a peg or two on its rewatchability. I'm not sure, but the story was told well. It's a great story of patience, of overcoming, and learning that it's not about winning or losing. It's about being there. Do your best, try your hardest, and earn respect, and then win anyway. Even though its rewatchability to me is not all that great, I do see the great things in this movie. And for all these reasons, I'm giving this movie a B-.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
There you have it, folks. My review for The Karate Kid. Tell me, what do you think about this movie? Have you seen it in a while? Are you a fan of Cobra Kai? Have you been watching Cobra Kai? If so, go back, rewatch it, watch this review, and let me know where you stand on the list. Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out some more of my videos, and as always, stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.
How did you do that?
Don't know. First time.